Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another costume designer interview with costumeco. And today I have Joanna Johnston. She is the costume designer of The Girlfriend, which is now on Amazon Prime Video. All 6 episodes are out. Actually, it came out September 10th, so it's been a few months. So, Joanna, I might not be super fresh on this show, but I'm sure all conversation will trigger everything back in my brain again. So thanks so much for joining us. You're in the UK today. Hopefully it's not too, the weather's good over there.
Yeah, it's been sunny all day.
Amazing.
You?
Wonderful. We have a little bit drizzly. I'm in Canada, so it's a little bit drizzly here, but it looks like it's
Okay.
trying to clear up. So we want to get right into it though, right? So I wanted to just ask you, first off, I'm a huge fan of all your work. I mean, gosh, like having you on this is such an amazing, wonderful experience for me. So thanks so much for joining me. But we're here to talk about The Girlfriend. So to start off, is this the first time you've ever worked on a streaming service, a series before?
It is. It's the first time I've done a streaming TV show, so that was a nice new thing to do.
Absolutely. And how did you get involved with The Girlfriend?
Robin Wright. So my relationship goes way back with her, and she talked about it actually when we were working together on Here, the Bob Zemeckis film of Here, which she played the lead. So with Tom Hanks again. So yes, and it was also produced by a friend of mine, Jonathan Cavendish. So it was very nice on both counts.
Yeah, it must be very nice to have these relationships where you can continue to working with people that you've built these relationships with over the years.
Yeah, it's really nice, and there's Robin is yeah, she's the best and a wonderful actress to work with. So it was a real treat to do it.
So now, before you began designing the show, had you read the source material, which is written by Michelle Francis, like the novel, or
No,
did you just go right into the script?
I went straight into the script actually, to be honest with you, because I felt that the script would really drive it for me, and there were certain things that I know that they shifted, so I wanted to stay solely in that in my head.
Yeah, this is a common theme I've heard from other designers. Sometimes they don't want to, read the book. Sometimes throw them off. I don't know if that's your experience. Like, just diving right into the material of the script gives you the information you need. Is that a correct
Well,
assessment?
I think it's a case by case basis actually, because often I will really want to read the source material as well, and or maybe have read it before as well. But in this instance, no, I just wanted to stick with the script.
So beyond the script, so what was your process for shaping the look for the show?
My process for shaping the look for the show was really well, it's sort of like what I do most shows. It's really just so defining and punctuating the characters. And in this one, it's how Laura and Cherry were opposites. Cherry was all hots and heat colors, and Laura was all cools and sort of low key. So it's really just character definition, and sort of painting the kind of the glamour of the lives of particularly Laura and Howard. That they lived this really affluent life in London and glorified, gorgeous house, blah blah blah. So yeah, just defining it all really.
So, as you've mentioned, you've worked with Robin Wright before. And so, how collaborative was this process for you in creating her character? But also, she was a director on the series as well. So, how collaborative was that relationship with her?
Totally collaborative. I mean, she was everything, director and leading actress. So yeah, and because we had an established relationship, we could just go bam, 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 and do it, quickly and understand it. And I showed her all the mood boards for everybody that I did on the outset, and then yeah, it's great actually working. That's the first time I've worked with a director who's also acting within the project. So yeah, you're sort of killing two birds with one stone.
Absolutely. And then, what about working? Like, had you ever worked with Olivia Cook before? Was that a new
I had not.
relationship?
That was a new relation. Everybody
Mhm.
else was new on that show. Yeah.
So did you also, you had this established relationship with Robin, but did you find a way to also work collaboratively with Olivia Cook?
Definitely, absolutely. It's a very close relationship, the costume
Mhm.
designer and the actor. It's right that it is, and it should be, and it's yeah, it's a very nice thing to do. Oh, there was one person, Anna Chancellor, I'd worked with previously,
Oh,
and
okay.
that was a joy to work with her again. She's wonderful.
Mhm. Now, obviously, there's this clear class divide between, the characters Laura Sanderson and Cherry Lane. And so, how did you show that contrast in their wardrobes?
Well, as I said previously, color. So I wanted Cherry to be very projecting, and she uses all her assets in that projection. Olivia's got great legs, so I wanted the legs to be a very strong point. Low décolletés. She's physically projecting herself forward the whole time. And Laura, and you sort of would hear her, the sound of her heels on the approach, 'cause she's always in incredibly high heels. And Laura is very elegant, very cool in colors, more covered up generally, not so that sort of slight corner eye look from Laura to Cherry on the first time she meets her, in that sort of confident, sort of brazen way that Cherry will put herself out there. Yeah, it's lovely doing opposites because it's very easy actually, to be honest with you, and with two great looking actresses like that, it's a nice playground, to be honest.
So one of my favorite things is we see Cherry, this is obviously a story element that she's oftentimes like she's trying to impress Daniel's family and she is shopping beyond her means. Like she's putting things on her credit card. She's going into stores that have a no return policy. So how did you work that into building her character as well?
What so yes, she's all smoke and mirrors, isn't she, really? So
Mhm.
you don't know what she's buying, what she's taking back. So she's pushing herself to the edge of and over the line actually of what's right a lot of the time, because she's wearing a lot of expensive clothing,
Mhm.
but the implication is that she wears it and then takes it back. Um, so
Yeah, like,
um,
for instance, when the soup gets spilled on her, we don't know this until later that she'd actually bought that dress and had tucked the tags in.
yeah,
And of course, once the soup gets spilled, she can't return it.
that's right.
Mhm.
I don't know how she fathomed that out afterwards. We know the story doesn't reveal,
I
but
know, I was wondering about that. Um,
yeah.
Actually, and then some of her, like, I actually really enjoy her outfits that she wears to the office. And were there any particular designers that you went with, like London designers? Or I mean, obviously it would be more off the rack type things, but was there any particular designers that you went to for her?
It
Be
was
affordable?
quite across the board
Mhm.
actually, where we went to for her, because we got a lot of things that were quite expensive, which were kindly loaned to me by companies. I mean,
Mhm.
Pods were absolutely fantastic to me, and loaned me a lot. Metier, a lot of wonderful accessories. And then, we found some good discounted stuff, which, she's so aware of every look, Cherry, that she's, everything is, it's like a performance in a way, her clothing. Um, it's her, it's her everything, how she looks. So when she goes back home to live at her mum's, that's the true Cherry, where she's in, just sweats and stuff. That's the truth of her. So all the dress up is just a front.
Yeah,
And
I could imagine her having a Pinterest page or something where she would, maybe that's a bit old fashioned, but she whatever the young people do nowadays, but she would have like a mood board of her own, like this is what I aspire to wear,
mm,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Um, Now, Laura and her family obviously are extremely affluent and, they have a couple of homes. So, how did you define, their style, the Sanderson style, the mom and the dad and the son? Like, were there any particular brands you went to? Were there any inspirational, maybe people in history or real life characters that you looked to?
Not so much about real life characters of any specific note, but the for Laura, Ralph Lauren, I have to give huge credit to Ralph Lauren because Robin wears Ralph Lauren a lot, and I believe Ralph himself, is very keen on Robin, and so they were incredibly generous to me. And also, there's some other brands that I used. Attersea out of New York for Robin, and there's a brand called Varana, who was beautiful. It's actually manufactured in India. Beautiful, elegant, sort of very expensive. So, a huge amount of kindness. I wouldn't have been able to do this actually without the generosity of people. And for Howard Dunhill, he wore quite a bit of Dunhill. Now, Daniel, he sort of denies his wealth in his look. He works in a hospital, and so he's just, playing the look of a regular man. So he's more street and looks great, and good men's workwear style. And he wore a little bit. Actually, I did put him in a suit from Dunhill, but at one point at the gallery. But otherwise, just good casual separates.
Yeah, I think this is the suit you're referring
Yeah,
to.
that's this.
Mhm. Now, one of the things, okay, you're wearing red. I'm
I
wearing
know.
red lip
Funny
I'm wearing red
enough, I
lipstick.
didn't actually. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't deliberately do that. But when I just before I came and said, "I God, that's weird. I'm wearing red
Mhm.
on
So
a
my
in honor of Cherry."
exactly. So that's okay. So I didn't come up with this. Somebody else came up with this. So they noticed that Cherry wears a lot of red. Her name is Cherry. She wears a lot of red, but at some point, Laura seems to be wearing some palettes of white, but at some point it looks like they do a switch. Is that
Yeah,
true?
they do. There's
Okay.
a point that I did a sort of slight fusion that, there's this key scene where I can't remember which episode it's in actually, to be honest with you, but where I put this sort of slightly soft, kind of tomatoey red shirt on Laura. And I do something which Cherry. So it's this sort of, these two characters going into a little bit of that. So that's very nice that somebody picked up on that, because you never know with people do. It's pretty subtle, but yeah, it does
Mhm.
play. When
Well, then
they're both,
okay.
you start off as an audience kind of going, oh, Laura's the good girl and Cherry's the bad girl, but then you see, and then it all muddies, and you're kind of going, well, who's good, who's bad, who's going to kill who, and so I kind of like that. So then I just did a bit of reflection on that in the clothing.
Mhm. By the way, I didn't have this in my questions, but while you were reading the script, did you form an opinion about who you thought was the good guy or the bad guy, or did you think that they both sort of had their, flaws? They were morally gray character type persons. Did you form an opinion on that, or did you try to stay neutral?
Yeah, I think the latter. I think they both, the reveal is they both have quite a lot of flaws,
Mhm.
and but they pretend to be something else. So it's all about deception, isn't it? Really.
One of the things I was wondering about is because we get these two different perspectives, which I like because, we always in our own mind imagine how something is happening. And then, of course, there's the other side, and they always say in between is probably the truth. So, when you were doing the two different perspectives, did you ever change the wardrobe, like from Cherry's perspective or Laura's perspective, like the jewelry or the clothing or any of that type of thing?
I didn't. No, I think it's the sort of thing I would do often to do that, but we didn't really have that sort of facility in time or money to be able to do an altered reality from the other one's point of view. but I love doing that. When one, and I actually, the time I did it most was I did a film called Unbreakable, and we
Well, a
had
huge fan.
we had this
Absolutely.
incredible complex thing when the Bruce Willis character bumped into people in the street and he picked up on his powers. I did a whole color, three-stage color beat on one costume, on each costume that he bumped into, the present, the past and the future. And so I actually do love that, but this project didn't give me that opportunity, to be honest with you. So
Now, speaking of like earlier, you were talking about some of the brands that you turned to, and luckily you were able to, borrow or, they were able to lend you some clothing. But one thing I noticed, like on a show like The White Lotus, for instance, they had very, very expensive jewelry and, watches and that type of thing. So were you able to also go to some of your sources and get some jewelry as well? And
yes, I did.
Mhm.
We got some Goossens jewelry, which is quite expensive, out of Paris, through LMC, who were incredibly helpful to me on quite a few brands. Pippa Small, who's a friend of mine, she lent me jewelry, and I have a great friend who runs a shop in London called Felt, and she lends me anything I want. So
That's
I'm
amazing.
very spoiled on the jewelry front. So yeah.
No, that's amazing. Well, I mean, you've developed these relationships over the years, so you should be able to call in some favors when you can.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really nice to be, because I do love supporting, particularly small brands,
Mhm.
actually. And so when they are kind to offer themselves forward, it's really great. And, hopefully there's a bit of a payback, because people say, where, a few people contacted me on social media wanting to know where certain pieces of jewelry and clothing came from. So
Before we wrap up, I just want to talk to you a little bit about some of the side characters, because obviously Cherry and Laura, they're the two heavyweights in the show, but we have some wonderful supporting characters, and the costumes I think are amazing too. So, for instance, we've got Isabella and Bridget Russell Bailey, and then also Cherry's mom, Tracy, who she's a butcher. So they all have very distinct looks. So are you able to tell me a little bit about your thought processes for those characters,
well,
those side
Cherry's
characters?
mom is, the roots of Cherry, isn't she? So
Yes.
she just wears clothing because she has to wear clothing. So it's sort of a particular kind of, inexpensive, practical, not particularly desirable, but functionable. Um,
Something she can throw in the laundry because she's
Something she can throw in the
yeah.
laundry is
Mhm.
probably, some of the washes have got mixed and all that. Bridget, she's just absolutely gorgeous, and
Mhm.
she looks so pretty in everything. So she's just fresh and young and, great looking. And Isabella, well, I kind of liked this idea that she was very
Oh, that's
bold
true.
and
Yeah.
strong in print, because
Mhm.
she could take all of that really well. And so, yes, she's the antithesis to Laura for sure. She wears like 15 necklaces at the same time and loads of jewelry and these really bold prints. So that was
Yeah, I
another.
loved her palette. It was like, because you were saying sort of Laura's very muted and, softer colors, and then she had very, very bold colors, but never in contrast with Cherry, it seems.
Oh, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no. They're completely different stories. Yeah.
Did you do a lot of like, okay, let's add some more and then maybe take off something? Did you do play a lot with that?
I did. I
Really?
mean, I love people in life who wear loads of jewelry,
Mhm.
so at least four necklaces and that kind of strength of character. I just love it. And so yeah, I think probably no, she was good on the load up. Um,
Is that what
yeah.
you call it? Load up when
Well,
you're
I don't know.
batting?
It's a new. I just said it now.
I like it. Let's use it.
But some actors, they don't like too much, so you have
Sure.
to. Laura always had, minimalistic. She had beautiful,
Mhm.
she had real diamonds,
Mhm.
some jewelry. That's the Pippa Small necklace there. Real diamond engagement ring, wedding ring, and earrings from McKenna, who are a jewelry shop in Beecham Place in London.
Mhm.
My cousin works there. So again, they were very generous to me. Yeah, so she's all minimalistic, Laura. Isabella being, you know, wearing everything 4 times the size and 3 times the quantity. It's just nice,
Mhm.
isn't it?
It sort of feels like a bit of an old money thing with Laura, I don't know if that's an old money thing. I don't think they are old money, but it just sort of feels like, okay, we don't want to show our wealth too much. We want to kind of, down it or dumb it down, not dumb it down. What's the word? Just not make it so
Yeah, keep it
you
moderate. Yeah, I
moderate.
think those
Exactly.
women, they're often out of New York, they buy from the row and they just wear beautiful, sort of exquisite, tiny diamond earrings, and it's all understated, but specifically curated, I would say. And yeah, Laura's definitely practical, but she always looks beautiful, I think. I mean, Robin looks beautiful. I mean, Robin looks beautiful in a paper bag, frankly.
Absolutely.
So you can't really go wrong with her. I have to say that.
So I mean, you touched a bit on the men, so Daniel and Howard. Uh, so was it their clothing? I know you were saying you put some, beautiful clothes on them as well, but they do feel sort of a little bit more understated. So was it your conscious choice to just make them recede into the background a little bit, just so that the women could, really show off their colors?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, they're not
Okay.
flamboyant characters. And as I say
Mhm.
about Daniel wouldn't want to bring any attention to himself, I don't believe.
Mhm.
They are secondary to the women, aren't they? The two men in the storyline. So I think you don't want to sort of interfere visually too much with that. You want to, it's just always the same. You want to subliminally tell the story in clothing without it being too noisy, I would say. Yeah, we didn't really have a noisy man in there, particularly, clothes wise.
No, I don't think so. Now, I don't know if you're allowed to talk about this, but there has been, I know Robin Wright has discussed that if they were to do a season 2, perhaps it would be the boyfriend. Have you heard any discussions about a season 2 at all? Are you in on any of that?
No, I haven't heard it. I haven't heard about the boyfriend. It's kind of quite fun idea. No,
I think it's a
I
really
mean,
fun idea.
we put all the clothes in lockup actually.
Oh, you
So
did? Yeah.
and so they're all sitting there because I did hear, when we were doing it, Amazon sort of mentioned, obviously if it was very successful and everything. So yeah, that's an interesting idea to put the spotlight on the boys.
Mhm. But it could be, or there could be a season 2 of this world where we have because obviously now that Daniel seems to have, the cliff, I don't know if you call it a cliffhanger, but he has all the information now.
Yeah,
The
you're
season
thinking
finale.
what going back over the whole story from his point of view.
Yes, exactly. That would be really interesting actually if they did that. So I think there's a lot of opportunity. And would you be willing to come back if they decided to revisit this story for a season
Well,
2?
if Robin was involved, yes, of course, yeah, absolutely.
Well, anyway, I just want to thank you so much for doing this with me today. It's been such a pleasure.
Oh,
And
thank
and you subconsciously wore red, but I think that was very appropriate.
you. It's so funny.
Now,
I
are
don't know
you
what it
work
means. I'm not flamboyant. Yeah, I'm not sort of flaunting myself.
No,
It's
no, I
I'm
know you're
zipped
not.
up. I'm
Yeah,
zipped up.
you
No, I
are.
wouldn't do
Well, I
that.
was gonna say you're also wearing Canadian colors, so I really appreciate that because I'm
All right.
Canadian.
Where are you in Canada?
I'm in Toronto.
Oh, brilliant. Very
Yeah,
nice.
so you're in our Canadian colors supporting us. Um,
Good.
are you allowed to tell me if you're working on anything else right now coming up?
I think I am just about to start something, but I probably can't say right now. But I think, yeah, something in the next couple of weeks. I'm just it's all going through at the moment. But I can publicize. I just came back from Paris doing there's something called the Urban Film Festival, which I was involved with, which was so much fun.
Oh, that sounds
And
amazing.
it's sort of many cultures, including film. But anyway, so just did that.
Amazing. Well, I thank you so much for joining me today, and I want to thank everyone who watched as well our interview with Joanna. And of course, the show is right now. It's on Amazon Prime Video. It's called The Girlfriend. Please check it out. There's just 6 episodes. You can binge watch it very quickly. Did you? By the way, Joanna, did you do a watch party with your family or anything?
I did do a watch party with some friends, yeah, and it was quite bingy because we didn't, as the way now, you don't really see rushes and stuff as you go along. And also, I got busy doing another film, Thursday Murder Club, so I slightly overstacked myself. No, it was great to watch it. It was a really fun piece.
Well, anyway, I hope you have the beautiful weather continue in the UK, and oh, Buzz, also tomorrow's Halloween, so happy Halloween. I don't know if you
Oh, happy
celebrate
Halloween.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, take care, everyone, and thanks so much, and have a great day. Bye now.